So a lot of us understand that we rest on Shabbat, right? And we understand it's the seventh day. However, a lot of us don't really understand the scientifics behind that. So this is the science behind it. Everything in this universe has a click to it or a time. I don't want to go like too deep into it. However, I'm just gonna say it, and hopefully everybody will understand what I'm saying. However, our bodies are based off of a time frame, and we can understand this because we have a time when we're up, we have a time when we're sleeping. There's always a time and a place for everything, correct? Oftentimes, when we are eating or when we are using the restroom, we don't really understand that our body is actually synchronized based on a clock or based on time. And that clicking of that clock, that energy, that click, that interval, it equates into energy as in colors, sounds, shapes, and letters as well. Sounds, it equates into those things. I say that to say this. We have something called a circumception rhythm. Everything in this world, bacteria, even down to bacteria, it has a circumception rhythm. And I remember I used to be like, why is Shabbat so, why do we have to keep that? Why is it so, it's a commandment, but why? Well, come to find out that everything in the universe will rest on Shabbat. This is a scientific fact. You can look up chronobiology, and chronobiology is chrono, which is time. Biology is bio, meaning life, and you have ology study, so the study of life and the time of life. When you look into it, everything, even science, when it comes to transplants, kidney transplants especially, they go by a 7-day cycle in order to see whether it has been received or rejected by the body. It is well known in science that those who tend to have issues, meaning in a sense of dis-ease or imbalance, to not have those issues if they take a rest or a sabbatical on the Shabbat. Not just any day. It is always the seventh day. Is that your organs, not even just you, the plants, the bacteria, and the animals, everything is based off of a 7-day cycle. And understand the body is a series of clocks ticking into a bigger clock, okay? I wanted to bring that point out simply because, and when people are asking us why we keep a Shabbat, we talk about it in the spiritual sense. However, to be able to give scientific facts, which please go and research this, don't believe me. To be able to give scientific facts that correlates with Torah, even though Torah is scientific, it brings about a deeper, when I found out about chronobiology, it really just took me to another level. I was just like, wow, this is quite amazing. It is scientifically shown and proven that when you take rest on Shabbat, we know that we recharge. We know that we gain strength. However, when you take rest on Shabbat, your body actually goes into a healing process on its own that is separate from the rest of the week. Went into a cave and he wanted to see whether the time frame externally, meaning sun, moon, stars, had anything to do with this internal clock. Speaking about circa septum, circa meaning cycle, septum meaning 7. And he was in darkness, by the way, so that he would not be influenced by the light outside. He found out that his body still kept a specific clock and knew what day it was being in a cave. Now that to me was quite amazing. And I just wanted to lead into the conversation with that because this is Shabbat, or it's coming into Shabbat, and it's Erev Shabbat. And for us to be speaking about health, it just brings in how sometimes you cannot know the benefit of something and yet still reap the benefit of something if you're obedient. For instance, the clothing, when it tells us not to wear wool and linen together. Well, linen has a 5,000 frequency, meaning it actually heals your body just by using it. It comes from the flax plant. It's the fiber. Excuse me, not cotton. Wool has a 5,000 frequency as well. Well, if you wear those two things together, it actually causes pain in your body because it cancels each other out, causing a pain shock or a signal in the body. Now, a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. However, in Torah, it tells us not to do certain things. And so my whole goal is to merge and to bring with the quote unquote scientific understanding. Torah is scientific.